I talk about pareidolia as a daemonic interface, and the daemon of the Greeks is the genius of the Romans, which is often also thought of as like a spirit, which again, like others this aspect of the self with a capital S. And so for me, the daemonic is that the unconscious in the sense of this psychophysiology, and allowing that to express itself freely. So I, quote unquote, analog I, metaphor me, would get out of the way and allow this sort of thing to come through. And you wrote about Daemons as well. You pointed out that it's also a computational term of a kind of background program that's running. I like, again, how you took this kind of archetypal notions, rooted them in the body as these kind of like background programs, and allowing those to take the wheel at times.
Yeah, so if you want to think about your pareidolia brain as being almost a discrete entity or structure, depending on how you want to imagine it, as like a more living thing or as a more like architectural thing. But basically, it's kind of its own thing now, and it's working in your subconscious. So it is that kind of like background process, but it's also kind of that like spirit being that's sort of an intermediary between things, in this case, your mind and what you're perceiving. And so you do kind of interface with it. You can also consciously turn it off and be like, okay, I don't want to see faces and everything right now. But you can also be like, I want to see a face in something, and you can sort of set that program to be running in the background. And that's where they're most effective. Your subconscious is so much stronger than your conscious. It takes a lot of effort to like manually process information. But if you're just like working on a problem and you know you have a really good problem solving sort of like neural connection, you can set that up in the background, do other stuff, trust that that information is getting processed by that like discrete entity within you, that discrete structure. And that's kind of like the idea of kind of utilizing these daimons. And my pronunciation is a little different because I think it's from the Latin maybe. So that's where I first heard it.
So there's the Daemon, and then there's the Daimon, but it's the same root. And I know that the Daimon has its etymology based in a word that means divider, or to divide. So it has, again, to do with kind of like the fragmentation of the psyche. So splintering off into these different parts and then letting these parts work for you, kind of like Sorcerer's Apprentice kind of thing with the little, you know, letting the brooms do the water hauling. But, you know, you got to be careful too when summoning Daemon. You have to learn set the configurations that you can trust, so that you understand your intentions.